I'm aware that I've not really done a video since the Steven Gerrard comeback game, the preview. I didn't get the chance to do a post-match review of that game, and honestly, the games were just coming too thick and fast since then, and I've been working too much. I've just not had the time to do another video, and again, like you all, my subscribers know, the reason I took a break in the first place was because I was pushing myself way too hard. I wasn't sleeping, and the truth is, I was just too busy with work to do another video, and I didn't want to kill myself to do it again. That being said, however, I have been working on a video that I was going to launch because I couldn't review the games. I decided what I was going to do was going to do a bigger video like what I did before the season started, like my stadium video that got quite popular, and that probably most of you subscribed to me through watching. So I wanted to do another video like that and just do a little bit of it day by day until I had it all ready and I could upload it and give you guys another proper good video to watch again, like that stadium video. But it's coming up to Christmas, time's gone by, I haven't given you guys a video, and I do want to wish you guys a Merry Christmas and give you some video at least to watch for Christmas, because, this has been the year I've started my channel. You guys have been amazing, you've helped boost my channel up. I know my channel is still in its infancy right now, and even if I do make it, this is, my channel is very, very small at the minute, but nonetheless, I'm still gone further than I expected to at this early stage. It's been great that, there's been people that want to watch my content. It's been heartwarming. So I want to give you guys something. So what I've decided to do was just do an unscripted video, basically just telling you guys, the kind of channels, the kind of stuff I watch on YouTube and the stuff that I enjoy watching myself personally in my own private time. So that, it's just for something you might want to watch while you're off over the Christmas period. Call it a little Christmas present from me in some small way. Because honestly, these channels that I watch are actually very, very interesting, and I have them on when I'm at home. Like when I'm doing housework, or I do a lot of food prepping, so when I'm working, I've got a busy schedule, I don't have to come back and make all me meals from scratch. I do a lot of food prepping on a day off, like in the kitchen, so I can just literally just come home and throw everything in the pan and make something nice. But when I'm spending the day doing that prepping, I'm in the kitchen for hours, so I stick something on that I enjoy watching. And these channels I'm about to show you are actually either really funny or really interesting, and honestly, they are a good watch. So I thought, while you're all off over the Christmas period, you're getting fat, you're getting fed, I thought, I might share something that you guys might be interested. You might not be, but you might not have heard of them before. You might like them. Some of them you might have heard of. But I thought I'd just share what I watch on YouTube and see if you guys might want to give it a shot yourself and see what you think of them. So we're gonna start off good and strong. This guy's probably my favorite YouTuber. He's absolutely fucking, he's funny, but he's got a series that I watch that's just really, really interesting. He's quite unique on YouTube. His name's Count Dankula. Now you might know him already from the dreaded Nazi pug video. Now again, let me just stress, I'm not going into the politics side of things. I'm not saying, whether he was disgusting for doing it or whether, he was just misunderstood and it was funny. That's not the reason I watch the guy. He does a series called Absolute Mad Lads, and that's why I watch this guy, because believe it or not, this series is interesting and funny in equal measure. What it basically is he picks out people either from current day or from history of people who've either led so exaggerated lives or just batshit insane, have just led lives that are just so far out there that they really do earn the title of Mad Lad. Now, for those of you who are local, I know that almost all my subscribers are Liverpool fans, but not all of you are actually from Liverpool. But for those of you who are, you've obviously know who Purple Aki is. He's done an episode on Purple Aki. Now, for those of you who aren't from Liverpool, who aren't local, Purple Aki is someone who's really well known on Merseyside for being this great big Afro-Caribbean gentleman who's got a bit of a thing for young men's muscles. And he's well known for going around, for loitering around gyms and asking young lads, can he squeeze their muscles? And he's got this kind of weird fetish for it. Now, he's well known all over Merseyside for that, because it's obviously it's fucking weird. But he's just obviously, if you're from, I'm sorry if I'm patronising, if you're from Liverpool, if you're from Merseyside, you know who Purple Aki is. But I'm just explaining for those who don't know him. But for those of you who do, Count Dankula's done an episode on him. He's earned a Mad Lads episode, and Count Dankula's done it. So for that alone, he's worth watching. He's also done some others Al Capone. He's done Blackbeard. So these are famous names from history. But he's also done some that you might not have heard of, that are just really batshit insane. There was General Butt Naked from who was a Libyan warlord. There's honestly just type in Count Dankula Mad Lads and just have a look through some of the names that are on there. Some of them are historical figures. Some of them are just fucking weirdos. They just are. It's a really funny watch. He goes a lot into it. It's an interesting watch. It's funny, and like I said, they're good lengths as well. Some of them are half an hour. Some of them are 50-minute videos. Some are the Purple Aki one's only about 13 or 14 minutes. But honestly, he's probably my favorite YouTuber for that series alone. Again, nothing to do with his politics, nothing to do with that Nazi pug video, but that series, absolute mad lads, definitely worth a watch. I highly recommend it.
Has Chopper really earned the title of Mad Lad?
Ladies and gentlemen, there's a slug in this gun. Now, you got to take my word for it, but there's a slug in this gun. Well, I want one shot to my head, one shot to Renee's. Are you ready, Renee?
I don't think I want to play.
Are you ready? You don't want to play. Bad luck.
Yeah. I would say he's earned it.
It's Count Dankula on YouTube. Everybody should subscribe.
My next one is Oversimplified. Now, these guys are they're kind of like the 442s of history. It's as the title suggests, it's like an oversimplified animated video of a historical event like World War I, World War II, the Napoleonic Wars. If you're into your history, or even if you're just vaguely curious about little videos that take the piss out of things, that's basically what Oversimplified is. It's an oversimplified animated video of a war. It's usually a war anyway, and I've got to be honest, he's quite funny. I mean, he's a bit quirky, a bit like kind of timid and shy in his execution, but he's still funny, the guy who does it. And the animations are great. It's very captivating. And I will say this: my 8-year-old niece, who I babysit a lot, she fucking loves it. She absolutely loves it. She can't get enough of it. She's binge watched that entire channel with me because she loves it that much. And it's an interesting way of getting kids to learn about history. But again, it's oversimplified, and there's loads of reaction videos to it from history teachers and historians who break it down a little and probably say, yeah, that is a little too obvious. But either way, that tells you if there's a lot of people reacting to them, it's obviously worth a watch. And it is a very funny, light-hearted little take on big historical events like World War I, World War II. Very interesting, very funny. Definitely recommend that. Is worth a watch. The next one that I'm going to bring up is another favourite YouTuber of mine. The channel's called History Buffs. Again, if you're into your history, what he basically does is he takes historical movies, like Braveheart or The Patriot or Dunkirk. He'll take any historical movie and he'll research the absolute hell out of it, break it down, tell you the real history behind the film, what they got right, what they got wrong, what his opinion is. He's got he loves his filmography as well. He's really big on practical effects. He doesn't like CGI unless it's absolutely needed. He prefers the real thing, and honestly, it's well worth a watch. It's because again, it's very interesting to learn the history of these, and you might really like a film. The reason I bring this up is one of my favourite films, and I say that with taking a pinch of salt, Braveheart. I think Braveheart is a fucking amazing film, but I also recognise, and my suspicions were confirmed by this guy. I knew what I was watching, it just seems too cartoonishly good versus evil. And if you look at history properly, it's very rarely good versus evil. It's usually just both sides have their good and evil within them, and they're just clashing. And I suspected Braveheart was a bit too conveniently, we're the good guys, they're the bad guys. And watching History Buffs, he reaffirmed what I suspected, and he told me that yes, Braveheart is although it's a brilliant film with great music, great acting, it's captivating. Historically though, it's full of shit, and your suspicions are kind of confirmed with channels like this, but having said that though, he doesn't just go at it from a historical angle. Like the film Alexander with Colin Farrell and Angelina Jolie, very historically accurate movie, but as he points out, it's not the best movie. There's great battle scenes in it and everything, but there's just something not quite right with that movie. I remember watching it and I liked it, but I just couldn't quite put my finger on. There was just things wrong with it that I didn't like, and he kind of highlighted them, and I agreed completely with him. Yeah, it's overacted, it's over emotional. It just seemed it was very badly cast. Like, how was Angelina Jolie supposed to be Colin Farrell's mother? A lot of it just didn't make sense for me, and he kind of he hit the nail on the head for me, and he put into words what I couldn't watching that movie, and he does that for a lot of movies. And even again, Gladiator, not a historically accurate movie, but a great movie nonetheless. And like I said, for that alone, it's if you ever like watched it, if you're into historical movies and you want to learn more about them, learn the background to them, and maybe if you've got questions about them that you want answered, great channel to go to. And again, if you're into your history like I am, great channel to go to. Now, the final channel I'm going to bring up is actually one of two channels, because at the present time, these two channels have kind of, if you want to say the word clash, but really they've come together finally on YouTube. It's been a big event for the people who are into that genre. But I'm going to bring up the first guy who I got into, Michael Franzese. Now, Michael Franzese is a former mafia captain in the Colombo crime family of New York. Now, he is actually responsible for the single biggest scam that the modern mafia have ever pulled off. Now, obviously, we know that the biggest actual scam overall, it wasn't really a scam at the time, but was prohibition in America, where they made booze illegal, and that made the mafia basically a corporation overnight. It turned them from a street gang to a fucking nationwide corporation with international ties. I mean, even British criminals used to sell them gin. But anyway, I digress. Michael Franzese was responsible for the biggest scam in modern times, where it was called the gasoline tax scam, where basically they found out that the government were allowing petrol stations to do their own tax receipts and everything and pay the taxes themselves. So he found a way of setting up dummy companies in Panama and abroad where there wasn't a paper trail, and kept the tax money for himself. And at one point he was making like $10 million a week, just him, not the family he worked for, just him. And he was giving his family loads of money. Anyway, inevitably ended up getting caught, ended up going to prison, came out, reformed his life, walked away from the mafia, claims to have found God. I'm not going to go into whether I believe that or not, because it's very clever on the one hand if he really hasn't, but he seems very, very genuine about it, and he's very persistent with his message. So if I'm a good judge of character, I think, and looking at him, I do believe him when I look at him, but at the same time, it is convenient that he took that route, because he has been mostly left alone, and he set up a YouTube channel, and he's doing very well for himself. He's also just about every mafia documentary that there is. And speaking of mafia documentaries, there's another former member of the American mafia who's also recently come out of prison from doing his time and has set up a YouTube channel himself. Now, I'm saying that on the topic of documentaries because if you watch any documentary about the American mafia, Michael Franzese is usually on it commentating, but the guy I'm about to mention is usually always on those documentaries being commented about, and that is Sammy the Bull Gravano. He's just come out, he's only been out a couple of years, he's set up a YouTube channel, he's growing day by day, he's doing a podcast series on his entire life. Now, if you don't know who Sammy Gravano is, he was the underboss of the most powerful of the 5 New York families during the late 80s and early 90s, during a time when they had the most famous boss in modern times. Now, you know that Al Capone was probably the most famous mafia member in American history. He's known internationally. In American history, in America, there was a Don in the modern times, in the late 80s, early 90s, called John Gotti. Now, he, not very well known over here unless you really do know your mafia history. You'll know who Al Capone is because he's on loads of movies, but unless you really know the mafia in our country, in Britain, you don't really know who John Gotti is. John Gotti is just as well known in America as Al Capone was. He was really famous. He courted publicity. He was very public. He went public. He was on the cover of Time magazine, just like Al Capone was. And Sammy Gravano was his underboss, who eventually testified against him and put him down. He was responsible, but this is the controversial thing with Sammy. He admitted to 19 murders, but because he put away John Gotti, they didn't give him a very big sentence, and he was out for a while. He was in witness protection. He ended up getting involved in ecstasy, went back to prison, then came back out, and now he's doing a YouTube channel. Now, obviously, anyone who's interested in the mafia, they're the only 2 made members who have YouTube channels. So a lot of people who are interested in that genre watch both Michael and Sammy, and they've been circulating around each other. They've done loads of podcasts with other YouTubers, we've hosted them on, allowed them to say their speech, but they've never directly spoken to each other, and they left it a good couple of years, which I think was clever, because when they finally announced through a third party, a channel called Valuetainment, who does loads of interesting podcasts with loads of famous names, he agreed to mediate a sit-down between them, and you finally, for the first time in history, you've got 2 made members, official members of the mafia, sat down talking about life in the American mafia. It's the first time this has ever happened on camera, that 2 made members have actually sat down and talked about the life. The only thing I'll say about this is, from Valuetainment's perspective, is this was built up for years for the fans who've been subscribed to these 2 channels. Then when they set out the teaser trailers for it, there was a trailer for the trailer. That's how, so there was a trailer for the trailer, then there was the trailer, and then just as it was about to come out, he then announced, it's $40 on my channel, and it was like, are you fucking kidding me? We've been waiting years for this, and you've done it, you've made this possible, and then you're charging people $40 to watch it. It's like, you fucking arsehole. I mean, I don't blame him on the one hand. You know, he's a businessman. You know, and this content is unique. I mean, from my point of view, I mean, just say for argument's sake, I became a massive YouTuber, and I got Jurgen Klopp, Kenny Dalglish, and Steven Gerrard all to agree to sit down and do a video with me. I would question whether I'd not charge for that. I wouldn't do 40 quid for the record. That's a bit fucking steep. But I might do what he'd done. I might put that, like, say, on a website I had, and then just put little snippets on YouTube. But say if you want to watch the full thing, it's a $5 on my website. So I kind of agree, because if you've got something unique where you've got really big names sat down for something truly unique, maybe you could probably pitch that. Yeah, come on, this is special. This shouldn't be for free. You know, I'll give you some snippets, but you should pay for it. But still, it was a fucking kick in the nuts for all the fans. But anyway, Michael Franzese does a lot of videos about his time in the life. Sammy Gravano does a lot of videos on his time in the life, and Valuetainment have sat them both down for a sit down. It's on their website if you want to go and watch it as a Christmas. If you've got money saved up, if you've had money saved up for New Year and you can't go out now, if you've got about, I think $40 is probably about 33 quid in our currency. But if you've got it, if you're interested in the Mafia, I mean, I've not paid for it myself. I'm waiting till I've got some money. I might do it, I might not, but they do snippets on YouTube. But it's a good time to get into that because, like I said, they've both finally sat down and done something truly unique, and that is two made men, two official members of the Mafia, sat down talking about the life. They do kick off at each other once or twice. It's in the trailers, but also on top of that, they do talk a lot about the business practices, about obviously the crimes that they've both committed. Maybe not they've committed, but the crimes that their families have committed, big events, and both their families' different takes on those events. It's a very interesting story that they've both got, and probably very, very interesting that they both sat down and talked about this, even though I've not watched it yet. But again, I thought that'd be something that you guys might be interested in. Anyway, that's enough from me. Like I said, I know I've not done a video on anything regarding Liverpool in a while. This was more of a thank you from me. What I thought to myself with this video was, just say I met all you guys in the pub, and what would I talk about with you over a pint? Now, yeah, obviously we'd bang on about Liverpool. All my content's going to be about Liverpool, but we've all got one other thing in common, is we all watch YouTube. So, I thought in my head that, naturally conversation would drift onto YouTube in general. So, and I thought, this is the kind of thing that I like to watch. And so what I wanted to present to you was some of the things I find interesting on YouTube away from football. And by all means, any of you can feel free to share what you like on YouTube outside of football below. Any channels that are similar to what I've just presented to you that I might be interested in myself. But what I thought was this might be interesting for you. When the match isn't on, and there's just other things that you're interested in general. I thought this, maybe you might, again, like me, I stick these channels on when I'm cleaning the house, when I'm going to be doing something boring for a couple of hours. It needs doing, and I want something to keep me interested while I'm doing something fucking boring. And this is what I watch. I binge watch, the history channels, funny Mad Lad videos with Count Dankula, the Mafia with Sammy and Michael Franzese. This is what I watch, so I thought, I might share that with you, see what you think, and if there's anything you like watching, by all means, comment below. I might be interested in myself, but this is basically my way of saying thank you. What would I say to any of you in the pub if I met yous? It's just thank you for, supporting me, getting my, helping lift my channel up from literally nothing to, I've got a shot now. You're helping, you're watching my channel every time I upload a video. You guys keep coming back. You're helping me grow. Again, I'm still in my infancy. It's still right at the beginning, but you guys have nonetheless given me a really encouraging start, and I wanted to say thank you. So that's all from me. Again, this isn't for me to try and get new subscribers. This was just for you guys who've subscribed. Obviously, if there's anyone who hasn't subscribed, who just happened to watch this video, please do subscribe. But this is for the people who have subscribed. It's my thank you to you and my way of wishing you a very Merry Christmas, and I hope you have a good New Year. Obviously, the Leeds game's been cancelled. Hopefully, for me, that means I've got the full day to work on the video that I was going to do. So I'm going to work all day on Boxing Day if I'm not too hungover to get that video done and get you guys a video out properly on Liverpool as soon as I can. But for now, like I said, I hope you have a good Christmas. I hope you have a good New Year. And after the New Year, I'll have a little bit less work to do. The games won't be as frequent as they were in December. Hopefully, I'll get back to something like what I was doing before. Maybe not as frequent, but certainly more frequent than what I've done through December. Like I said, I just needed a break. I've done a video when I could, but after New Year, I will be paying it a lot more attention because I have a lot less time in work. But for now, thank you very much. Thank you guys so much for helping me get my channel off the ground this year. Hopefully next year, again, we'll go to bigger and better things, and hopefully come May, we'll all have something to celebrate with all things Liverpool. So for now, take care, lads and lasses. I'll see you for the next game. Ta-ra.